Welcome, everybody. We're here today with Barry Frey, the President and CEO of the DPAA. Hi, Barry.
Good morning, Adrian. Nice to see you, or good afternoon for you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Now, Barry normally does the interviews. We thought we'd turn the tables on him. He always talks a lot, even when he's doing the interview. But we thought we'd turn the tables on him this time around and interview him. The DPAA is the leading trade marketing association for our industry. They've been doing a really good job during lockdown on a couple of things, which I want to touch on today as well. But Barry's got a virtual event coming up. In fact, he doesn't call it a virtual event. It's a live streaming event. And that's what we want to talk about in a second. But first of all, let's just give Barry a little bit of credit. Since March-ish, when lockdown started, the DPAA have managed to do a really, really good job at keeping its members informed about things. So we've often talked about how well they've done with their town halls. Their Video Everywhere Canadian Summit was a big success. And they've done some really good short connect type videos with industry leaders, including people like Sir Martin Sorrell. So congratulations for that, Barry. But what's the most thing you've been proud of from that time?
Well, thank you for that, Adrian. We really dug down early on and reinvented and reimagined our role during this. And we completely reignited our business around the world to really connect our members. And we found that I'm most proud of is really how we've been able to keep the community connected. You know, during these times, people needed that sense of community. They need to be connected. They needed to have the best practices on a business and also on a personal level to feel part of our global digital out-of-home community. So I'm very proud about that. We also, a lot of our initiatives where we developed and further pushed out our We Do Women Empowerment program, our diversity and inclusion initiative. And what I'm also proud about is our industry. You know, as an industry, we stepped up. We had National Health Service campaigns. We had great artwork on our screens. We have members that are giving out PPEs. We have members that have kiosks that are checking for temperature. And I think we, as an industry, we stepped up to continue that favorable view of pedestrians, consumers, brands, and municipalities. When they said, "What did you do during the war, Daddy?" I think our industry did step up during this period, and I'm proud to see that.
Yeah, no, and fantastic job, all of you. One of the things I think that you've done very well from a social media and online perspective, the things that you've done, we seem to get announcements from you guys almost every week. None of it's ever seemed forced. A lot of other companies, brands, industry associations have had to pivot somehow. I think that's to do with the way that you've just naturally, every quarter, you have your quarterly meetings in Manhattan, and you seem to somehow, you've always been doing quite good webinars, but I think there's been a natural transition from the way you engage your members to what we're doing now. So again, hats off for doing that.
Thank you. Yes, we've tried to, as I mentioned, reimagine for this current environment. And the good news is that this will stick. So while we have had about 15 events a year globally, this will now continue live streaming as well as globally when hopefully we reemerge soon.
Yeah. Now, let's just imagine for a second that it's normal. In a year's time, it's going to be normal, I'm sure. But you did have big plans for the summit this year. I mean, we've been to pretty much all of the summits since you took over as president and CEO. You've grown 800 people, 900 people. I think last year you were approaching 1,000. You did have a new venue for us this year in Manhattan. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We actually have it, and we have it booked for next year, and it's all set. It's a wonderful venue on the Hudson River in New York City. It's Pier 61. It's a great, big, glorious venue, and we are truly hoping that we'll be back there next year. We're actually still paying for all of it, so we hope to have it, and we hope the world comes back.
Okay, so on to this year. You've got a live streaming event. And you've really thought about this rather than just do trying to convert a day-long event into a day-long virtual live streaming webinar type event. You've thought about it. Tell us a little bit about what you have planned for October the 13th, the 14th, and I think it's the 15th.
Well, the overarching theme is leadership. We're going to see how major brands have led during this COVID period, how DPAA members have led during this period. It's going to be a veritable master class in how brands plan and buy media, how they think. And also we're going to touch on a bit of politics where we're going to have a great preview from Frank Luntz and Brian Stelter. Frank Luntz, a great political pollster, and Brian Stelter, who runs the global media show on CNN, will be speaking about the US presidential election just 3 weeks before it happens with a bit of an insider's view.
Okay, well, I remember seeing Frank Luntz back in 2016, and you very kindly introduced me to him afterwards. Actually, he was flying to London, I think, to meet one of our ex-prime ministers at the same time. So it shows you how well connected he is globally. If he's as much fun in your live streaming event as he is in person, that should be a lot of good. I would say maybe you could ask him to predict the election correctly this time, though.
Yes, a lot of people will be seeking that. And I think he's dug down pretty deep. I actually was talking to him just the other day, and he's got a lot of new data that he'll be giving us some insight into that during the event. By the way, Adrian, the other 3 pillars of our event this year, I think, are probably important to note. We're going to be featuring diversity and inclusion. We're also going to be featuring the globalization of media, which is actually a sponsorship owned by Hivestack. And then we're also going to have programmatic and omni-channel, which will be a really consistent theme for this. The programmatic leadership by our industry has taken great steps forward, especially during COVID. And I would like to note that in 2 ways. One is that a lot of our members around the world have taken the time to connect the pipes and connect the automation, which is really good. And also the use of programmatic during this time in digital out of home has been really great for advertisers, but because they can pause and push schedules, they can move to where audiences are. They don't have to redo total contracts. So this agility and flexibility needed during this particular time has really been enhanced by programmatic digital out of home.
And so I think you've got events 11 o'clock on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 11 o'clock to 2:30, I think, every day or 3 days of that week. You're doing a different theme every day. Is that the way you're handling it?
That's right. And that'll be New York Eastern time. Of course, UK time, it'll start at 4 p.m. And it'll be broadcast globally. We actually run it like a TV show. We've been doing a few of these since COVID has happened. And that's true. You know, we took a deep look at how people are consuming Zoom and consuming video during this quarantine period. And we find it's a little bit more sampling than somebody would sit through a whole day like our previous summits, which you've attended, Adrian. So we're going to put it into 3 breaks, and they'll run across Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of that week. And we will have the themes will run across all of them. And it'll be an exciting day, and we do promise a few surprises as well.
Good. Yeah, it's a very good idea. Hats off again for that idea of splitting up a day into a couple of days. One of the things that I'm sure you've already thought about is that you guys, the DPAA, you've done so well with membership in the last couple of years. You've got members in Europe, Middle East and Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and quite a few in Asia now. I know that fits in with many of your members like Broadsign and Hivestack and a few others who are also particularly global these days. That must really help you, because for the first time ever, you're going to do a summit which can be watched, participated in by all of your members at the same time.
You're right, Adrian. You know, when I took this over now 6.5 or so years ago, I realized that digital crosses borders, and we've been pushing and promoting the digitization of out of home across the world. And the ability to share best practices, to share what's working, having the standards and requirements in a digital world really easily and should cross borders, and it empowers all of our members. So now we have the opportunity for everybody to join us, and our global membership has also grown during this period. And by the way, before I forget, I should mention that some of the major leading brands coming, we have the Global Chief Marketing Officer of MasterCard, the Global Chief Marketing Officer of Weight Watchers, of WWE, of Hyundai, plus CEOs of Group M and CEO of MediaCom and CEO of DDB Needham. It is a real leadership forum that our folks around the world will be able to really see, as I mentioned, how the big marketing folks plan and buy media. And, you know, of course, digital out of home is going to have a great association with these folks.
Okay, well, to finish up, Barry, thanks for this. How much does it cost, and where can people find out about the event?
Yes, we've severely discounted it this year to be inclusive so many people can attend. The way the rate's structured are $50 for members, $99 US for non-members, and advertisers and agencies and the demand and buy side can attend for free. And this way we're trying to be very inclusive and have a great, wonderful debate, forum, and masterclass. And for all the information, and thanks for asking, please go to videoeverywheresummit.com. That's videoeverywheresummit.com for all the information and to register as well for the big event this year.
Okay, Barry, I'd say one more thing before we sign off. I think you created something really amazing here, this sort of hybrid live streaming type event. I hope next year that everything is normal and we can all get together and have a great week and a great summit. But I hope you don't lose track of some of these things you've put together, because the global members of yours deserve to learn some of this stuff. So maybe we can throw some of this TV style hybrid live streaming type events into the mix next week or next year as well. So
great point. I hope so too. And thank you for this. And we will continue to grow the global digital out of home world.